Okay, so, hey everybody. A couple of weeks back, they asked me if I wanted to speak in November, so I'm like, you know, that would probably be fun. It'd be a good idea. So, here I am, right now. And I want to share something with you guys that's been on my heart a lot lately. And in fact, it kind of is about our heart. So I want to start off with a story about this young man named Namu Ekar. It's kind of a little bit of a different name. You don't hear the name Namu Ekar every day. He was a unique individual. Pretty young, about 18 years of age. One day he got in his car and he's driving down the road, you know, whatever you guys do when you're driving down the road. I'm sure you keep like a straight face, never whip out the phone, you know, don't tune the radio. Well, I tune the radio a lot. I have a subwoofer in my truck. I'm a little different. But anyways, he was jamming out in his car, flying down the freeway like any teenage guy would. And all of a sudden smoke started to come out of the hood of his car. I was like, I don't know what that means, you know, something's going on in there. And then you notice his RPMs, you know, a little gauge on the side. You know, you got like the fuel, the speed, and then like the RPMs. That was like flying up. So something must have been wrong with his engine. But he didn't really know how to fix that because he was young. So what does he do? He tries to downshift his car and try to make it run a little bit smoother, but that doesn't do much for him. So the next thing he does is, you know, he turns on the air conditioning, because if you didn't know this, the air conditioning actually does cool your engine down. So if you have problems with your car overheating, just crank the AC and it'll help cool it down. But that didn't work. His engine was still having some issues and it got a little shaky, the RPMs were still flying. And then what does he do? He turns on his windshield wipers. I don't know how or why he did that, but he did. They're going back and forth, and all of a sudden flames burst out of the hood of his car. In within moments, the flames hit his fuel line and the car exploded. And you see Namu Ekar, he died. And the thing about Namu is that he's not a real person. In fact, if you were to look at the name Namu Ekar, it's just a play on words. It's the human race backwards. Now, I would love to put that on the slide for you. Oh, there's Namu Ekar. There it is. Now, if you look at it, it's human race backwards because each and every one of us is driving down the road in our life. And each and every one of us has a failing engine, and that happens to be our heart. And the thing about that is that we have a choice. We have this guy named Jesus who comes into the picture. You see, Namu, when he was driving down the road, he wasn't alone. There was this guy, Jesus, he's like running along, you know, chasing him down, knocking on his window, hey, pull over. But you see, Namu, he went to his own ways. What did he do? He downshifted. He turned on his windshield wipers. And the thing is that we have habits of using our windshield wipers in our life. I mean, with our heart problem, there's only one thing that can fix that, and that's Jesus. But sometimes we don't always run to Jesus. Sometimes, instead of going to God, the one that can help our hearts, we go to things like cutting. We go to things like relationships, or pornography, or alcohol, or drugs. When we go to those things, we're using windshield wipers to fix our engine problem. And the thing is, when we go to those things, when we feel like we're so caught up in self-harm that there's nothing we can do, Jesus is knocking on our window saying, let me in to your life. I will take this from you. He does that to each and every one of us. So, it's kind of an interesting thing. Because Namu Ekar, every single one of us, we're going down the road. We're not alone. We've got Jesus with us at our side. You know, he's just arm's reach away, just knocking on our window. But yet, we can't fix it on our own, and that's why Jesus is there. In fact, it's kind of like this. Have you ever heard of someone who needed open heart surgery? So they got some anesthetics, they cut themselves open, they replace their heart? You can't do that. It's just not possible. The same is true with what we have going on in here. We need a healer, we need a mechanic, we need a savior, and that person is Jesus. And that cross is how he saved us. So I want to read something out of Psalms. And you know, if you notice the story, Namu was driving down the road before something went wrong. And you know, we're not always in a troublesome spot in life. It doesn't always feel like our engine is failing. It doesn't always feel like we need Jesus to, make us whole in our lives. But then we hit a rough patch. And I want to read this to you in the Psalms. So, when we do hit those rough patches, when smoke starts coming out, when things start caving in, when we realize that we can't do it on our own, God says this: I am your strength, I am your refuge. I'm always ready to help in times of trouble. So do not fear when the earthquakes come and the mountains crumble into the sea. Let the oceans roar and foam. Let the mountains tremble as the waters surge. What this is saying is, let the world come at you, because I am with you. When you go to home and it's not good, and stuff starts getting rough, and your parents are fighting, and it feels like, where's God in all this? Or you're at school and you're getting bullied and harassed, or you're at the workplace and nothing's going right for you. God is in that place. He's our refuge. He is our strength. And then he says this: be still. Be still. It's kind of like when Jesus was on the boat. He was napping, and 12 disciples started freaking out because it got really wavy. And he woke up and he just calmed the waters. He said, be still. They were. Same is true in our life. Same is true for Anu when his engine started to fail. God's knocking on his window. He's saying, be still. I know that I am God. I will be honored by every nation. I will be honored throughout the world. The Lord of heaven's armies is here. The guy we were worshiping like 10 minutes ago, that's the Lord of heaven's armies, and he is here. He's among us. And get this, he's our fortress. When it seems like the weight of the world is bearing down on our shoulders and we can't do anything, and it just seems so tempting to go out and have another smoke or another drink or hook up with that person one more time, and it just feels like we can't even stand, kneel and look at the cross. It's there, and it's in our life, and it's through Christ that he will pick us back up and we can stand through his strength, not on our own. We can't fix our heart on our own. It's through Jesus Christ in our life that fixes it. And get this, there's nothing that we can do to be sinless, but through Christ's power we can strive to sin less. It's kind of another play on words. PK's used it a few times, so I think it's pretty cool. But God recognized that we can't be sinless, so he sent Jesus to make a way. Get this, Ezekiel comes out of 36. It's talking about the heart. I will give you a new heart, and I'll put a new spirit in you. I'll take out your stony, stubborn heart and give you a tender, responsive one. I'll put my spirit in you. That's great. That's great. The movie, he was driving down the road, his heart's starting to fill. Here's God saying, not only am I going to give you a new engine, it's going to be like a Ferrari. It's going to be like, flying, accelerating towards Christ. But even when we're accelerating towards Christ, there's times when our heart still needs maintenance. Following Christ isn't just a one-time deal. It's something you have to work with. It's kind of like some of you guys might have been, going into the dating field. I don't know, maybe some, maybe more than others. But you realize a relationship, you got to work for it. You don't just say, I'll go out with you and then never put any effort into it or anything like that. That's not how it works. It's like your parents giving birth to you and saying, okay, see you later. No, it's a relationship. They work for it. The same is true with our faith in Christ. It's something that we work with. Our heart, it might be replaced. Some of us are here right now with a replaced heart, but it just needs a little bit of maintenance. We've been falling away from our daily devotions or our prayer time, or worship has become dry for us. But God's here saying, I want to give you a tender, responsive heart. He's here not only to give us a new heart, but to renew the heart that he's given us. And something cool is that, the whole picture of Christ knocking on, and he's going to be like, no, let me in. Christ does that with our hearts. He's literally knocking on our hearts, saying, hey, let me in, dude. You don't have to go to him to invite him over. It's like if I'm at your door, knocking, like, yo, let me in, let's play some video games and whatnot, because I like to do that once in a while, believe it or not. You want to give me that phone call and say, hey, Jared, come on over. You just open the door and let me in. The same is true for Christ. He is in this place right now. And some of us have been running. I've ran. I do it sometimes. Sometimes I might have a new engine, but I don't follow Christ all the time. Sometimes I run from him. But he's here and he's knocking. He's knocking on our hearts. So, the amazing thing about Christ is that even before we got our driver's license, he was running down the freeway. That there's nothing anyone could do, there's nothing you and me can do to have Christ knock on our windows. He just does it because he loves us. It's kind of like, let me tell you a story. You guys remember when you were younger, trying to figure out how to ride a bike, and you had the training wheels, and you're trying to get that all figured out. And then the first time you get them taken off, your dad or your mom's pushing you, following you, and then they push you off and you either crash and burn, and you keep going. Yeah, some crash and burn more than others. I don't really remember those moments too much for me, probably because I crash and burn really hard. But anyways, like, you ride your bike and then sometimes you fall and you scrape your leg, and the thing about God is that he doesn't just say, go find a Band-Aid in the kitchen. He gets down on a knee, kind of like that, get down on a knee for Christ. He gets down on a knee and says, come on over here. I'll bandage you up. That's what Christ does for us. And the scriptures, they show this over and over again. The story of the Prodigal Son, I'm going to flip to that real quick. That's in Luke. The cool thing about it is that for those of you that don't know the Prodigal Son, I'll give you a quick rundown. It's pretty much this son went up to his dad one day, and he said, can I have my inheritance? And he said, sure. The son goes out and just goes through the entire inheritance, burns it all up, and he goes back to his dad, and he's in shame. He hasn't eaten in a while. He's dirty. He was like sleeping with pigs and mud because he had nothing. And it says this, the dad, when he saw his son still ways off on the hill, he ran out to him. And he cried out to his other sons, prepare a feast, slaughter the fattened calf, which by the way, that's like the super valuable stuff. That's like the filet mignons. Most of you don't know what that means, but that's like a super expensive cut of steak. It's like the top of this line stuff. Christ was saying, or the Father was saying, we need to celebrate because my son has returned. And that's what happens for each and every one of us when we return to Jesus. There's a party in heaven. Have you guys heard that? There literally is parties in heaven. That sounds great. I can't wait to take part of those. But when you enter a trial in life, whether that's in 10 weeks or 10 minutes, Jesus is already there. When you return home and you have a choice to go back to your older habits or to follow Christ, not saying that you don't follow Christ, but there's always room where you can follow him with like a new, more intentional way. Like every day I strive to know Christ more. I strive to worship him more in my heart and in my actions. But whether that's in 10 minutes or 10 weeks that you start a trial, Christ has this to say. Come to me, all who are weary and carry heavy burdens, and I'll give you rest. Take my yoke upon you and let me teach you, because I'm humble and gentle at heart. You will find rest for your souls. Who of us needs rest? I know I do. With school and work, and Thanksgiving breaks coming up. I'm looking forward to enjoying that, but sometimes we just need rest for our soul, and Christ offers us that. And when we have those trials, it might not seem like we have that rest, but we do in Christ. So we all have that failing engine, or we've had it. Has yours been replaced? That's what I want you guys to think about. Because I don't want you to end up like me. I don't want you to be trying to fix it yourself and then you crash and burn. When we have a Father that gets down on one knee for us when we fall off our bikes, that when the weight of the world is too heavy, he gets us off our knee and helps us to stand. And when that God is so real in this place, and the cross is so real right there, and we still have our burdens, that hurts us. It hurts our soul. And God he's our Father. He doesn't want us to be hurt. So he's calling each and every one of us. He wants us to run like a kid who falls off of his bike does to his father. He doesn't want us to be broken down on the road somewhere. He just wants us to be real with him. He wants us to be accepting of him when he knocks on our heart. So with that, I just want to pray for us really quick. God, thank you for being a God who's there, who's real. God, I just want to thank you so much for being the Father who helps His Son. And that while we were still ways off on the hill, you had that party for us. You had that celebration. You welcomed us back home, even though we were dirty and we had sin. God, that didn't matter to you because your love for us was so strong it overpowered sin. I really like where it says, I believe it's 2 Corinthians, "O death, where is your sting? O death, where is your victory?" Because Christ beat death. It doesn't happen every day that Son beats death. But Jesus did that for us. And that's an amazing thing, and I don't want any of us to take it for granted. God, I pray that you would be made known to us, and that your presence would be felt by us in a tangible way. God, I pray that you just move through this time and through this night that we have together. Amen.